it's Alice, and I'm here today with my original pop punk book tag. This is actually my first original book tag. Sean has made a couple for the channel in the past, but I've never made one myself. But I was just thinking this morning that it would be really fun to combine my love of pop punk with my love of books. And the ideas kept coming. So here is my pop punk book tag. I hope that you enjoy this tag. If you would like to do it, then please, I am challenging you all to complete this one. If you're a fan of pop punk music and you would like to, make sure to link your takes on this tag down in the comments so I can see them and promote them, because that would be really, really cool. And I hope that you enjoy this as much as I do, because I'm actually really excited about it. As I said, I've never tried to make a tag before, so I'm a little nervous, but really happy with it. So there are 10 prompts today. So what I've done is I've picked 10 pop punk bands with 10 pop punk songs, or like lyrics from the songs that work really well for prompts. And then I'm picking books that fit those prompts. Simple. That's the idea of a book tag. And without further ado, let's go. So the first prompt on the pop punk book tag is Fatlip by Sum 41. And this is a book you don't want to waste your time on. So for this one, you have to pick a book that you have DNFed. So a book that you wouldn't recommend to anybody else because you haven't wasted your time on it and they shouldn't waste their time on it. So for this one, I'm picking Dearly Departed by Leah Habel. I read this one, oh god, it must have been 2 years ago. Got about halfway through and I was struggling. The concept is a great idea. Zombies are coming back to life and it's like set in the future, but it's Victorian-esque. So it's like the Victorian style has had a revival in the future, so it's very steampunk. It's exactly the kind of style that I like reading about, but it was just so boring and there were a lot of different viewpoints that didn't need to be in this story. I think at one point there were either 5 or 6 viewpoints and 2 of them seemed completely redundant because they were just repeating things that had been mentioned earlier on. So I got very bored. I DNF'd it. I afterwards found out that the 3rd book in the series never actually got published, so it's also a series that isn't finished, so definitely not a series I would say that you should waste your time on. The next prompt is Monsters by All Time Low, and that is a book which has ruined your life, also known as a book that absolutely emotionally destroyed you. And for this one, I'm picking Countless by Karen Gregory. There are not enough people talking about Karen Gregory on BookTube, there are not enough people shouting out Karen Gregory anywhere in the bookish community, and so I am single-handedly going to mention her as often as I can, because all 3 of her young adult novels are impeccable and they are astounding, but Countless hit me so hard that I was crying on the bus. And I'm not somebody who cries often at books, but I was crying on the bus because of this one, and it had destroyed me. It hurts so much that I'm not able to bring myself to reread it, even though I really want to reread it, because this is about a girl called Hedda. She finds out that she's pregnant, but she's actually in the throes of anorexia. Such bad anorexia that she didn't believe that she would actually be fertile, because she hasn't been having her periods. And she has to decide whether she can battle Anna, which is the kind of embodiment that she gives her eating disorder, for the baby that she isn't actually, like, she didn't plan on getting pregnant. So it's an unexpected pregnancy, but she has to decide whether that's something that she wants to do. And I just think that the personal struggle that she has, it just destroyed me emotionally, and it's so beautiful, and I would recommend this book to anybody who likes hard-hitting YA novels. The next prompt is Secrets by State Champs, and for this one I'm picking the lyric, "You'll never really know what this means to me." So I'm talking about a book that you love so much that you literally cannot sum it up. No words will explain exactly why you love it. No matter how many times you try to talk about it, you just cannot sum up why you love this book so much, so people will never really know what it means to you. And this one should be obvious if you've seen my channel before, because it's Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir, which I read last year. It was an instant 5-star, it was an instant favourite, and I just have no words for how much I loved it. I loved it so much. The word I keep using to describe it is cozy, which, considering it's like a space travelling drama, cozy shouldn't be a word that works with it, but it feels so cozy and I just love it so much. And if everybody just picked up this book, they would understand what I meant. So do it. Go and read this book and you will understand exactly why I have such a hard time letting you know exactly what it means to me. The next prompt is A Part of Me by Neck Deep, which is an old favourite that will always have a part of you, otherwise known as an old favourite that you just can't get past. So even if you don't reread it, even if you don't own it anymore, it's an old favourite that still has a very special place in your heart. This one for me has to be Looking for Alaska by John Green, because it was the first book that I can remember making me absolutely weep my eyes out. Like, I cried for days. I got my partner at the time to drive me to Waterstones so that I could see if they had a copy, because I had to return my copy to the library and then they didn't have it, and I cried in the bookstore because they didn't have it. And then I managed to find a copy at Tesco's, and I like highlighted all the quotes and I just read them over and over at school, and I cried and cried and cried. And even if I don't reread it, and even if I do reread it and I don't like it, I'm still going to have very, very fond memories towards it because of how much it meant to me at the time. So this has to be the one to fulfill the "a part of me" prompt. The next prompt is Minority by Green Day, and this is a popular book or a popular author that you don't love, so you are in the minority. See what I did there? It's a nice subtle one. Holly Black. It's not surprising, because I mentioned before that I don't exactly love her work, but I'm starting to realise more and more that she is one of those booktube darlings, and not many people say anything negative about her. Even if they don't enjoy one of the things that she's released, they still seem to absolutely love everything else that she's put out. And as somebody who has been kind of impressed by a couple of her titles, but more often than not just very meh towards her, I feel like I'm definitely in the minority on this one. I'm not excited about Book of Night. I'm a little disappointed because it seems likely that Illumicrate will be featuring it, so I will end up with a copy of it, but I was not planning on reading it, and I'm not sure. I mean, I probably will. If it gets here and everybody else is reading it, I'll probably read it and just be massively disappointed. Or I will absolutely love Holly Black's adult writing, and she'll end up being my favourite author, and I'll look back on this in a year and think, what was I thinking? But yes, definitely Holly Black at the moment, considering I've read at least 15 of her books, and I think I've given one of them 5 stars, but then I actually ranked it down when I reread it. So not great odds. The next prompt on this book tag is All I Want by A Day to Remember, which is a book that you want. It's a book on your wish list. It's a book that, like, a special edition that you can't get hold of. It's just something bookish that you're really craving. So for me, I'm going to be picking the Waterstones edition of House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J. Maas, because I'm currently rereading House of Earth and Blood and getting really excited about House of Sky and Breath, and I've got 3 copies of House of Sky and Breath on pre-order and also the Kindle edition on pre-order, and I'm just a bit gutted because the hardcover of House of Earth and Blood is so hard to get hold of in the UK now, and I'm gonna have the Waterstones edition of book 2. So I wish I'd had the Waterstones edition of the first one so they matched. I nearly bought it because when they went into lockdown, it was in the shop window, and we were going to go back in when they reopened and purchase it, but we'd already got the tour edition at that point, so we thought, no, we didn't need 2 copies. But I'm absolutely loving it on a reread, and I'm so excited about carrying on with the rest of the series, and I really want to have as many special editions of it as possible, so kicking myself for making that decision. The next prompt in the pop punk book tag is Misery Business by Paramore, and this is a book that I never meant to brag about, and so it is a gorgeous edition that you absolutely love, but you don't show it off very often because you don't want to feel like you're bragging, or one that you don't get enough excuses to show off, or anything that is just a gorgeous book that you really, really love. Oh, this was the hardest one for me to pick because I have so many gorgeous books. Like, so many that I'd changed my mind about 3 times on what I wanted to feature. But I'm actually going to say The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. This is the Illumicrate exclusive edition, and it has these digitally sprayed flame edges. And this was the first time that I can remember seeing digitally sprayed edges on any special editions, apart from possibly the Waterstones edition of Wayward Son, because that has the flowers all over it. But I just think these are so stunning, and the fact that they have the under the dust jacket artwork, like they have the cover printed on the naked hardcover, and they've got under the dust jacket artwork too. They're very, very stunning books, and this was the first Illumicrate Archives edition that existed, and it's absolutely addicted me to the Illumicrate Archives editions. Like, I buy every single box that they do in the Illumicrate Archives. I probably shouldn't. I need to get better at discerning over which ones I'm gonna pick, but they don't release too many of them, and it's just nice to have, like, series that are completed that people love, all in one box, all in matching editions. It's very nice to get. So this is the one I'm picking for this prompt. The next prompt is Thanks for the Memories by Fatlip Boy, and this is looking forward to the future, and it's a highly anticipated book that you just can't wait to get your hands on. Now, you'd think, based off of how excited I am about House of Sky and Breath, that it would be that, but that is out in, oh my god, 7 days. 7 days until House of Sky and Breath comes out. Deep breaths, it's fine, it's nearly here. But that's the thing, it's nearly here. The book I'm going to feature is one that's not out until the summer months, and it's also one that I only heard about last week. I didn't know it had a title, I didn't know it had a release date, I didn't know it had a cover. Somehow I had completely missed all of the news about Locklands by Robert Jackson Bennett. This is the third and final book in the Founders Trilogy series that starts with Foundryside, and I loved Foundryside, I loved Shorefall, I flew through both of them, and I'm so excited about book 3. It's been 2 years since I read Shorefall already, so might end up needing to have a reread on those ones, but I'm so pumped, so freaking pumped, because I loved the first 2 books in the series, and I can't wait to see where it goes with the rest of them. Robert Jackson Bennett's writing style always reminds me of Pierce Brown in that it's very kind of witty and sarcastic, and I love that. So if you are a fan of that kind of style of writing, it's definitely a series that I would recommend. The next prompt is Stupid for You by Water Parks, which is a book I am stupid for, aka a book that I am absolutely obsessed with. And talking of Pierce Brown, is it any surprise that I picked Red Rising? My whole brand is Red Rising. I love this book. I've loved this book forever. I've read this book 5 times, 6 times, and I've given it 5 stars every single time. I'm going to continue to reread it, and I'm going to continue to give it 5 stars every single time because I am freaking obsessed with this series. I'm halfway through a reread, getting ready for the 6th book coming out, hopefully this year, hopefully called Lightbringer. We have no idea because Pierce Brown is just holding off on giving us any news on that one, but I would follow Darrow to the ends of the earth and back again, and then probably to the ends of Mars and back again, and to the ends of the universe and back again, because I love these stories and they're amazing. So this has to be the book that I'm stupid for. My battery is running low, so let's hope this doesn't die. And last but not least, we have Addicted by Simple Plan, which is a trope that you are addicted to. And this was probably the hardest one for me because I kind of like the enemies to lovers trope, but sometimes I'm disappointed by it. I kind of like the love triangle trope, sometimes it disappoints me. So I'm actually going to go with one of the cheesiest ones that I love, and that is the just one bed trope. When characters are experiencing a lot of kind of sexual tension and it's like will they won't they, and then they end up having to share a hotel room or something happens and there's only one bed and they have to like work out like, ooh, who's gonna sleep on the floor, are we just gonna share the bed? I just find it so cute and like ridiculously cheesy but adorable every time I read it. So that's probably like a guilty pleasure trope for me. So I might as well say that I'm addicted to it and hopefully read some more recommendations featuring this trope in the future. Well, I hope that you enjoyed the pop punk book tag. If you did, then please, as I said earlier, take part in it. Tag me in your videos. Let's make this a big book tag because it's my first original one and I'm nervous and I really hope it does well. It's like sending a little baby out into the world. If you like this video, then please do give it a like, and if you'd like to subscribe, we'd be super duper grateful. We post new videos every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday, so we will see you in a couple of days with another video. Bye! Stone's edition of House of Earth and Blood by Cassandra Clare. No. What? Where did that come from? There goes my prompts.